Welcome to Momentum Real Estate Perspective. This is an overview of a really core competency course of the Momentum series called Real Estate Perspective. And what I really love about this class is that it gives you the really a bird's eye overview, not only into the real estate industry, but into your individual career. And this is going to lay out so much of what Momentum is all about in how we view our business, how we view our core beliefs, how we run our business, really figuring out our true desires and our aspirations. So this course really is jam-packed with information. And what I'm going to do today is just provide you with a quick overview, if you will, to kind of get your mind thinking. So much of real estate is such a mind game. It's unbelievable. There's so many tasks that are involved, but overall, real estate is pretty basic. So I'm just going to give you this overview, and then when you come into the class and really start sparring with this material, you're going to see how this can truly unfold into such a core foundation for your business moving forward. It's very powerful, so I encourage you to take some notes and really go through this a few times before you actually go and dive into the class live. It goes off into so many different directions when we have the input of everybody in the classroom, so it'll be really fun to kind of prepare you ahead of time, which is what I'm going to do now, for when you actually come into the class and you're able to interact with others now that you've had a little snapshot into real estate perspective. So get ready to take some great notes. So I always like to start with people is, why do we work? Why work? And, everybody kind of shouts out. Some people shout it out. Some people whisper it out. It's like, money. Well, right. We have to have income in order to live our life. So what we want to think about is really viewing your career and your aspirations and your life into yourself, your relationships, and your finances. And we have to put all of this into buckets because we all have 24 hours in a day. So we're going to talk about the different models in which you can earn income. And then I hope that you'll start really reflecting on your why. Why am I starting a career in real estate? Why am I opening up a business? What will working with clients and earning income, what will that provide me to match up with my aspirations? You're going to need time and you're going to need money. So it's not all about making the money, right? There's plenty of people that have tons of money that are not happy. They're not spending out as much time as they would like to with their spouse, with their friends, with their children. So life is not all about making money. It's about making money in a smart way that fuels and funds your aspirations, which need both time and money. So when you look at the different career options that you have for yourself, and I hope you'll sit here and kind of reflect on all the places that you've been as far as in your career to date. Have you been an employee before? Most everybody that I talk to is like, yep, I've been an employee before. Well, employees when you're working for other people, and typically, not always, but it's pretty much low cash, high time. You're pretty much committed to what you're going to earn, and you have to work a certain number of hours every week in order to earn that income for someone else. And then we have the quadrant of the self-employed. And this is where you're working for you, developing you and developing your systems, and it requires you. So it's high cash because the sky's the limit. When you are self-employed, you are in control of the income helm. So you dictate exactly how much income you're going to earn based off of the time you put into it. So a lot of people are like, well, I'm not, getting a lot of traction in my business, or I'm not making a lot of money. And I can usually immediately correlate that to, well, what habits have you put in your business? How many hours do you work? One thing that I can assure you after being in this industry for 19, going on 20 years, is that I don't care what anyone says, there is no full-time pay for part-time work. So you need to first do some self-reflection on how much time are you putting in, because the people that work a lot of hours in this industry make a lot of money. There's just a direct correlation. There really is. Now, the amount of time that they do could be very focused and vital and productive. So it's narrowed down, and that's what we're trying to get everybody to be, is very, very efficient and then ultimately proficient. But you have to be putting in the time. And then what many people would like to be, and which a lot of people aspire to be, is a business owner. And Robert Kiyosaki says that the true definition of a business owner is someone that can step away from their business, and the business would actually continue to grow in their absence. And they could step away for up to a year. So if you think about your business, can you step away and not be in the day-to-day operations? And will it continue to grow in your absence? So I think we kind of hedge between the self-employed and I want to be a business owner, but I don't delegate enough, and I'm not really vital and productive yet, and I don't have as many quality leads coming in, and things definitely can't run without me being there. So it's something that sometimes we say we want, but then our actions are not in alignment. So there's nothing wrong with being self-employed. So I hope you're not taking it as, oh, I thought I was a business owner. Many of us are business owners in the sense that we own our own business, but we might not be in the same sense that Robert Kiyosaki's definition of business owner is. But ultimately, the goal would be high cash with low time. And that would give you more time to do the things that you aspire for. And then we have investor, which is unlimited living, passive income without risk, and it's high cash in no time. So you may be aspiring to invest in a company that you're not involved day to day, but that you are getting the benefits of the cash. This is also a model for folks that do purchase investment property. So same thing, right? Those investment properties are earning income, and typically if you have someone running it or it's a well-oiled machine, you don't really have to put too much time into it. So this just kind of lets you see your career options from Rich Dad, Poor Dad to kind of lay out, where do you fall? What do you really want? A lot of people never take the time to think about their career path in this high-level thinking model. So I hope you'll take some time and just reflect on here a little bit. So the only true options that really allow for an abundant life are on the right side of the graph. And when we talk about an abundant life, that just means that you have enough time and income necessary to realize those aspirations and to truly have that sense of freedom, if you will. A lot of times if you're self-employed, your income is still only limited by the number of hours you're willing and able to spend in your business. So it puts those limitations on our ability to earn income. So it begins with the way you think, and so much of momentum is a mindset. You know, now that I'm hitting year 3, getting into year 4 in the momentum material and being entrenched in this and training it and working with it and watching it now have the transformational effect on members that are really sparring with this material, it is truly exciting. And I am seeing how it's filtering into folks' DNA. It just becomes part of who they are, how they communicate, how they live, how they view things. So when I first was introduced to this material, I kept thinking, oh, I have to learn this, and how am I going to say this, and how am I going to learn this, and oh, I'm going to have to memorize all this, and oh my gosh, how am I going to teach this? And what I've realized is that it really does just become a way of thinking. There's so little in here that's actually a here, take this and this will cure your life. It's more of a internalize this, learn it, understand to speak a different language, look at your business a different way, communicate more effectively. And then all of a sudden things can change. And it is a process, I promise you. So please don't think of momentum as one and done. Like I'm going to go to, I already took that class once, so I'm good. What's the next one? What's the next one? This is a journey. This is a very, very powerful learning journey that will completely transform you, your business, and your life if you tap into it, if you're learning based, if you're committed to mastery, if you do truly want to elevate your level of professionalism, elevate your level of profit, elevate the way that you are communicating, the level of respect that you get in the industry, and the respect that you command from your clients. It is so cool. So a lot of what you're going to hear throughout the 13 courses of Momentum, it's a mind game. It's a mind shift. And only those that are open-minded, committed to mastery, willing to learn, and are learning based are really, those are the ones that are going to walk away and truly be transformed. So it's a choice, as is everything in your business and everything in your life. Momentum is a choice. Most people don't progress because they put limits on themselves. And these limits will usually just be a form of an excuse as to why they can't do something. Well, I don't know. I've never made 100,000 by myself. There's no way I could do that. Oh my God, I can't do 10 deals a month. That's crazy. I would need to have a whole team in front of me. And anytime you say, I can't do something, I can't do that, or I can't imagine myself doing that, I can't imagine that. Well, if you can't imagine something happening, trust me, it is never going to happen for you. So the first thing you have to do is realize that you cannot have any limits on your beliefs. And this really goes for any career, any business, any endeavor, relationship, personal, physical, spiritual. Don't place any limits so many times. And now that I'm coaching and helping agents, and my ear like spikes up when I hear the limited beliefs from folks. And I always say to myself, if I'm working with the person, I can call them right out on it, right? And say, oh my gosh, that was a limited belief. But a lot of times I'm not in a position to do that. But I'll have that second where I think to myself, oh, I'm so sad. I wish they would change their self-talk. I wish they would change their belief system if they wanted to have a different outcome. Because if your belief system is not in line with your activities and with your thinking, then it doesn't matter what you do. Those aren't going to match. So it all starts with your thinking. In order to create a life of abundance, you must be thinking of unlimited terms. Honestly, there's not much difference between any of us. If you think about all the people that get into any industry, and I don't care if they're an accountant or an actress or a singer or a realtor or a teacher, we all have access pretty much to the same tools. And we all have access to the same 24 hours. So why is it some people are hyper productive, have unbelievable sales goals, unbelievable results, and other people can barely struggle to get 1 or 2 deals a month under their belt? So there's so much of it that is a mindset. I'm just telling you. So if you just think about it, this is just a great exercise. Just think about some limited beliefs that you possess about yourself, about your business, about your production, about your income, about how many vacations you can take a year. Just think about all those things that you say over and over again. And I'll give the biggest one that most people say is, I don't have enough time, right? And we really know that that's not a true statement. It's an excuse. And it's really just a way, when I hear people say I didn't have enough time, I just replace that sentence with, it wasn't a priority. So if somebody says, oh, I wanted to come to your class the other day, but I ran out of time, I didn't have enough time, I just replace that with, you didn't come to class because it wasn't a priority. Because I have never, in 19 years, I have never heard someone, and I've been around so many realtors, say these following words: I didn't have enough time to get to the closing. I've never heard that. Now, maybe there are some agents that are that busy that they actually didn't have time to go to all their closings and they missed a few on accident. I think that would be a fun survey to put out. How many people have missed a closing because they've had so many that they couldn't get to it? That would kind of be fun, because I'm sure there are people out there, believe it or not, right? There are. It's not anybody that I've encountered, but I guess it could exist. So remember, you have as much time as you absolutely prioritize, because we all get the same amount of time. So if you're going to grow in your business, if you say, I'm not experiencing the results I want, I would like to do better, I feel like I have some untapped potential, then the first thing you have to realize is that if you want to grow, you cannot do the same things that you're doing. Because if the things you were doing right now were giving you the results that you wanted, you wouldn't want to grow. You'd be like, no, I'm good. I do not want to grow because I'm tapped out. I'm exactly where I want to be. So the first thing you have to admit and you have to embrace and you have to agree to is that you're willing to add something beyond what you're currently doing. It's the only way. Most people want different circumstances, but they're not willing to change to get there. And if they don't have the circumstances they want by doing what they're currently doing, then we know that it's not working. So we have to be willing to add some things in to what you're currently doing. And then we want to make sure that we are improving. So it's one thing to add a bunch of stuff, but if you're never sparring with it and practicing and putting into action and repeat and reviewing, if you're not continually trying to get better, then you're never going to be able to leverage the benefits of moving from consistent to efficient to proficient. See, there's 3 phases that we all go through with any skill that we ever endeavor upon. And the first one is you have to get consistent at something. Like if you're not consistent at lead generation, if you're not consistent at calling your database, if you're not consistent at doing open houses, if you're not consistent at farming, if you're not consistent at calling expireds, whatever the lead generation technique is, if you're not first consistent, unfortunately, you never get to reap the benefits of the next 2 levels, which are efficiency and then proficiency. So you have to be improving. And so we want to make sure that we're adding, improving, and developing, leveraging things. All 3 of these are going to require an open mind and a willingness to learn. So growth requires change. I think everyone should just put that up on their wall and just remember, if you're not changing, you're not growing. And if you're not getting out of your comfort zone, you're not changing. You're not growing. So all these things keep going around to each other. And it's real easy to retreat to our old habits. And that's where the danger lies. That's where you need the accountability. And that's where you need the helping and the masterminding and the networking. You need all that because when you change, when you add, when you put in new habits, it's hard. It's hard not to drift back to our old ways. Very, very difficult. That's why they're called habits. So when you're forming all these new habits, this is where you need help more than ever. You need this help, and you should seek it out, embrace it, and be open to it, and realize that it is a gift. The help, the accountability, the questioning, the networking, the caring, all of that is such a wonderful gift for you. It's just unbelievable. You should just be so thankful that people really want to help you succeed and make changes in your career and help you form new habits that have already been proven to bring extraordinary results for folks. So keeping an open mind, like I said, are you learning based or are you ignorance based, right? So learning based is just, I know what I know and there's more to know. And ignorance-based is I know what I know and I'll ignore everything else. I'm at where I'm at. And don't get me wrong, there are plenty of folks that will choose to discount the complete agent development program of Momentum because they are at a production plateau. Most of those folks, if they're not growing and they're happy where they're at a production plateau and they're just in risk of retreating. So they just need to know that they're at risk because I don't care what anybody says. Real estate is absolutely basic, but if you don't stay with the times and you don't understand what's going on in the industry around you, that's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem for the people that want to put their head in the sand and say, I'm just going to work by referral. My people are fine. They're not going anywhere. They don't care if I'm on Facebook. They don't care if I have a website. They don't care if I understand how Other companies work. I mean, if you're living in that life, that's fine, but just realize that as those people disappear, so will your business. Because if you are not bringing new quality in relationships that are in 2018 mode and beyond, you're at risk. So you just, and that's a choice. Again, it's a choice for you to be learning based or ignorance based. So we want to make sure that you're not just learning things, coming to these classes. We've had way too much of this. People come to the class, come to the class, come to the class. They know a lot of stuff about momentum. They know a lot of stuff about the pricing strategy. They know a lot about open houses. They're not doing any of it. They're not taking action. So when you learn to grow, you absolutely have to look at all the choices in front of you, clarify which ones make sense, and then you have to take action. Taking action is probably the best way I can help people, because I can't make someone good at something. Only you have the ability to do that. All I can do is help and hope and inspire you to take action, which is the goal of all training. The habits and the character and the destiny and the legacy, all those follow after you first take action. So the very first step is to just do it. And why we hold ourselves back and why we put limited beliefs on ourselves is beyond me. I know we all do it. I'm just as guilty, but it is frustrating. It is frustrating for me as a coach. It's frustrating for me as a mentor. It's frustrating in my own life with my own business. I tend to do those same things. So I'm constantly trying to figure out, how do we move into consistency? How do we move into implementation? What is truly holding us back? And what I'm starting to uncover is that it's our belief system. So it's our belief system. So when you come to my class, we go all into the belief system, and we're going to touch on some of that here today in this overview. You got to get in the right mindset. You've got to get in the right mindset, and you've got to want something really bad. So we want to make sure that you have a willingness to study, practice, put into action, and repeat, right? And then we want to make sure that we keep you vital, just doing things that really make sense. It's all about mastering the basics. So the pathway to mastery, you'll see, is you're going to hear things in all these 13 classes. And the first time you hear something, you're going to say, oh, aha, wait a minute. That sounds good. I haven't heard that before. Oh my gosh, that makes sense. And at that point, you then have to take that piece, and I want you to go study, practice, put into action, and then I want you to bring back that experience in masterminds, or the next time you come to the class, you should be attending over and over again. It's so that you can spar, so you can keep reinforcing what's working and what's not working. Plus, out of all these courses, some are lead generation, some are lead conversion, some are business development, you're only going to retain about 6% of any given session. Therefore, every time you come back, you're having another aha moment. It's not the same aha. Sometimes it might be the same aha moment, but for the most part, you're having a different aha moment. So you want to make sure that you keep coming back. And this is where I've seen the magic and the transformational power actually occur, is when people come to the classes more than once. And the classes keep growing and changing, and we keep learning and adding this and taking away that. And oh my God, that doesn't work anymore. Oh my God, that was 4 years ago. Now we're doing this. And maybe our MLS has changed. So there's a lot of things that keep this so relevant that it doesn't matter when the material was created, because you bring it to life based on real life experiences with each and every individual that's taking the class that particular day. So powerful. It is so cool. And it's really fun for me now that I've, been teaching this to several people for several years now, to hear them speaking a different language, to watching the results change, to seeing them have more time, working smarter, having more days off, being more efficient, moving toward the proficient levels where the magic happens. So it's not for everybody. It's for the people that really want to master the basics and have an unbelievable, completely extraordinary career and really live a different life than a lot of the typical agents that are out there. So it's really, really fun. So people succeed. It's really multi-dimensional. There's an internal dimension, and then there's an external dimension. So what I always like to say is we kind of have this intentional and inactive person. We have the intentional and proactive, right, which is where we all want to be, the accidental and proactive, and the unintentional and inactive. And you can kind of go through these slides at your own time, but the internal development dimension is an overwhelming, burning commitment to take action. It's the people that get in this business are like, I'm fired up, I'm excited, I'm dedicating 40 hours a week, I'm going to figure this out, I don't care how hard it is, I'm not seeing obstacles in my way, I'm seeing what I want and I'm going to go get it. The entrepreneurial spirit, the ones that know exactly what giving their all is going to do for them at home, for their aspirations. So again, if your why is not super strong and doesn't have real big passion links attached to it, you're probably not going to put in the effort that's required for you to really, really succeed. People succeed because they intend to. They have this internal, overwhelming, burning commitment to take action. So it's the willingness. They're willing to do what it takes. They're willing to learn. They're willing to invest in themselves. They're willing to invest in their business. They're willing to invest in their people, in their time. If you're not going all in on the investment side, it's very hard to get anything out of it. Then we have our external dimension, and this is what type of environment are you in that's going to support your goals. So the training, the systems, the tools, the culture, the relationship, the technology, what are you surrounding yourselves with? And how are you learning? So the external dimension is more about someone's ability. So when you take someone's willingness and you work on the skill level and the willingness is very high, the skill can keep getting better and better. And when those two interact between being proactive and intentional, there's success every time. Every time. So when people aren't succeeding, I think to myself, okay, is this a will issue or is this a skill issue? Are they just not willing to put in the time? Are they not willing to learn? Are they not willing to invest? Is their belief system not in line? Or is this, they're willing to do it, they just, oh my gosh, every time they get in front of somebody, they stutter, they stumble, that's a skill. Oh, I didn't know what to say, so I froze. Okay, good, but you're willing to do it. So if you're willing to do it, we can always work on the skill level. Anybody's skill in real estate can improve. It's not like, trying to go apply to play football. It doesn't matter how hard I try. My skill level is never going to be there to hit Wimbledon or to hit the football field. I mean, it's just not. At some point you have to realize there's certain skills that you can get to a certain level. What I can assure you is that anybody that's watching this, if they have the willingness, I guarantee you can get to the skill level that will absolutely provide you with success. It's a will and a skill issue. So the model for success is that internal dimension. So what are your aspirations? And then we develop your specific GPS, your goals, plans, and strategies. We have to clarify choices. We have to take action. We have to review and repeat. We have to spar with the material, right? And then we have the proactive, which is making sure that you're staying vital, that you're taking vital action to working with buyers and working with sellers. And when you're accountable, you can start to see how you keep getting better and better and better. And that's where the magic happens. But you have to have both. It's intentional and proactive. And then there's some formulas for success. So what do you want? You need to make sure that you figure out your why. And there are 4 stages of an aspiration. There's the want level, in which you can talk about it. Then there's the desire. You'll move toward it as long as the path remains easy and convenient. Oh, it's comfortable. A lot of folks are, in the comfortable level. Maybe they're at a production plateau. They just desire it. And as long as it's easy and convenient, they're okay with keeping that as the desire level. But then there's the passion, and the passion level is when people are willing to suffer. And when we talk about suffer, we mean they're willing to get uncomfortable. So when people are passionate about this industry and they're passionate about what they do, that's when they're willing to sacrifice, if you will, every Saturday, sacrifice a few evenings, sacrifice that or suffer through the uncomfortableness of making phone calls to people that you don't know, or calling folks and reconnecting with someone that you haven't spoken to in 5 years. You're passionate enough about what you do that you couldn't see yourself not trying to help as many people as possible. And that to me is what real estate's all about. It's being the option for as many people that need to buy or sell, rent or invest, or have a question in all things real estate. I want them to think of me. I don't care if it's a need now. I don't care if it's a need in 10 years. I don't care if it's a desire. I don't care where they are. I just want them to know that all things real estate, all things buying, selling, renting, investing, questions, taxes, whatever, any kind of question that has to do, I want people to know that they could call me. I am here. I want to make sure that they know they have someone they can trust, someone that has resources, someone that can answer their questions, or shoot, I will find the answer. I mean, that's really what our business is all about, is becoming an option for as many people as possible when it comes to all things real estate. And really beyond that, it's just a bunch of tasks. And once you learn the tasks, then you're off to the races, because once you do them enough, you become efficient and then proficient. So we don't want you to be obsessed, but we do want you to be willing to progress to the passionate level. So when you attach these personal needs and wishes and dreams to your career activities, that's when you create the passion links. And those passion links are what are going to get you out of your comfort zone. So your daily activities matter. And I encourage you to remember, words are so powerful. So don't say things like, oh, I have to go and pull properties for showings tomorrow. No, I get to. See, because getting to do something is correlating to passions and pleasure, and you're going to embrace it, and you're going to be willing to take action because it's fulfilling and it's creating a world of abundance for you. So you get to go do those things. I used to always say, ooh, I get to go play tennis tomorrow night. Well, I need to be looking at my business the same way. And thankfully, I get to go and teach momentum, and I get to go teach CE classes, and I get to help agents on a regular basis because I'm absolutely living my passion. I'm totally passionate about what I do. Pretty much every day I'm pinching myself. And that's what I'm really looking for folks in the real estate industry. I want to find the people that are passionate about what they do. They get to do it. It brings them pleasure. They're embracing all their activities. It's fun. It's inspiring. They're helping others. And then when they're not doing all that, they're living the life of their dreams. Their aspirations are being realized. When I hear people like, oh, I have to go do this, and oh, no, I have to go do 4 open houses in the next 3 weeks, and I have to go call for sale by owners. Like, when I hear that and see that and I feel that energy, those are chores. Sometimes I'll see people's face looks like they're in pain talking about calling past clients. They're going to resist it. This is when procrastination comes in. So I always know if someone's belief system is not in alignment because they're procrastinating. They're resisting it. It's painful. They're frustrated, right? When those things are happening, they're looking at everything like a chore, which means that their belief system is not really in line with their activities. So you've got to have this paradigm shift. You've got to really start to look this up, because these positive days will add to weeks, and they'll add to months, and then they add years, right? So one good day, another good day, another good day. I mean, before you know it, you're going to have a good year. But it's all in how you view things. So it really is such a mindset. When we talk about the financial requirements, we kind of break this into 2 courses, but because there's so much in this real estate perspective. But I do want you to start thinking about categories that you're trying to fund and what things are you really going through. So we'll have you go through your business and your personal budget. We're having you establish your lifestyle number. So important that you understand your entrepreneur's mantra for anything else to really ever transpire in your career. You have to start with the why. And then again, here's your entrepreneur's mantra. And we talked about this a little bit in activities management. You hear a lot of the same terminology and the thought process all intertwined through all these courses, because it all comes back to the forefront when you're formulating, working with sellers and working with buyers and going out and having open houses and farming and referrals, and all of this intertwines. So I can walk into a room now and I can be like, hey, Joe, what's your entrepreneur's mantra? And Joe should be able to say, it's unacceptable for my business to profit less than $125,000 this year. Some people put it in units, like it's unacceptable for my business, and you've already figured out the numbers, obviously, to help less than 65 families this year. Whatever it is, if you don't know it, if you're not grounded to it, if you are not so attached to this, if you have not drawn the line in the sand about what your entrepreneur's mantra is, you're going to struggle. I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to struggle. I have my entrepreneur's mantra right here, laminated, so that every morning I can get up, come into my office, and I say it. It is unacceptable. And I read this and look at this throughout the day several times because it keeps me on track. And then I have some affirmations on here. So you put the good stuff in, you have a good mindset, you believe in the right things, and the right things will come to you. All right, so real estate sales is basic. I hate to break it to everybody, it's not rocket science. It's really not. It's pretty darn basic. There's just a lot of these basics that we have to put all together, so it's very, very task-driven. So it can seem overwhelming at times. It absolutely can. But here is just an introduction. And again, these models and these functions and all of this come out in all the different classes. So it all intertwines. And so that's why the real estate perspective is just this big overview. Now we dive in deep into this in the class, but just to kind of let you see, most people are never exposed to this numbers analogy, if you will, about the real estate industry. And most people, I never looked at it this way. Right, because we get in thinking that we're starting a job, that we're going to go show homes and drive a nice car and wear nice clothes, and we get to write up offers and go to closings, which we absolutely get to do. But there's so much other stuff that we have to take into account. So we have this the picture that unfolds of what a real estate career is vastly different than our very first vision of what we're getting into. That I've never had, every once in a while, you'll get the one person who's like, I knew it was going to be all this. I've already owned 4 other businesses. But that's not the most. Most of the people are coming out of the corporate world. They're coming out from the employee world, and now they're trying to move into the business owner world. Yikes, scary place. But basically, it's 28 beliefs, 3 models, 8 functions, 14 responsibilities, 6 ancillary arms, 94 vital activities, $13 productive activities, 14 key performance standards. Whew, and we got to do it all in 24 hours. Holy moly. Whew, that's a lot of stuff. But you know what? We take it one bite at a time, and we take it one class at a time, and we take it one area at a time, and you spar with it, and you get better, and you start to move from consistent to efficient to proficient, and the magic starts to happen, and then you start to get excited, and then all of a sudden you have momentum in your business and your career and your life and your fun, and the wheel starts going, and things start clicking, and then all of a sudden everything starts unraveling, and then you sound different, you walk different, you look different. Your value that you bring to the clients is different. They're perceiving you as somebody different. It is truly transformational. So exciting. Absolutely love this material, and it's just fantastic. So this is an overview, and you can go through some of these, slides, and you'll have access to all the material. But really, just to kind of think of it, now we start drilling down into all these little areas, the functions and the responsibilities. And don't get overwhelmed, because while it may seem like it's, oh my God, that's way too much, what have I gotten myself into? The fun part is that it all unfolds and it makes sense. Right now it seems overwhelming, but as you start to go through the different classes and you understand, oh, that's part of my operational model, and you could never do it in a day. You could never do it in a year. Momentum is really about a 3-year commitment to really get all the pieces in place. But I tell people all the time, no matter what you're starting, you need to be looking at a 5-year commitment. You should have a 5-year forecast. And so what I try to help people is just figure out 3 different sales channels that you're going to master over the next 5 years. And then all these other little things around here, the functions and the activities and all this, all falls into place as your business unfolds with a strong foundation. And that's the key. Most people never have a strong foundation. They get in the business, they wing it, they get some results, and now they reinforce winging it. And half this stuff, they're like, oh my God, I never thought of it that way. Right. And then they can only get to a certain level of production and they shut down, or they burn out, or they start doing a terrible job, or worse yet, they think they should start a team. Oh my gosh. And, you know, it's just, I see it all the time. It's the way our industry is just put out there. And we finally have the blue footprints that make total sense, that is a proven system, and we get to share it. And it's really, really exciting. So I hope that you will go through and look for the next Real Estate Perspective class to hit the books and get signed up as quickly as possible. It's pretty intense, but this gives you a great overview. And again, the truth about truths, I talked about the belief system. Whatever you frequently think about, it's going to become internalized and accepted as truth. So we are going to always give you with some, just some thoughts and some beliefs, some core beliefs for listings, for being an entrepreneur, for working with buyers. These beliefs need to get seeped into your core being. They need to become part of who you are so that you will start to behave in a way that aligns with the belief system. So just a couple things you'll notice here, 28 beliefs, and I talked about that. And we'll go through a lot more of this in depth when you come to the class. And so I'm really encouraged and excited that you'll have at least a little preview here to kind of understand what it's all about and let it sink in. But we'll go through these in detail. Again, listing beliefs, buyer beliefs, and then the 3 different models. We're going to go through your economic model, your operational model, and your organizational model. Piece by piece, not one and done. We do deeper dives. We might just say, hey, it's organizational model day. We're going to talk about the functions. Hey, we're going to dive through the 94 vital activities checklist for buyers and sellers and make sure that you are following a checklist, that you're staying vital. So a lot of the momentum material ends up being these little deeper dive classes that you kind of go and mastermind with people that are at the same level that you are. So it's really exciting. So it's not just a once and done. And so again, the economic model, we're going to make sure that you understand where your prospecting is coming from. And then how are you generating and what type of leads are you generating? How are you converting them? Are you taking them through a high quality conversion process for both buyers and sellers? How do you service them? What are your client care systems? And then what marketing do you put in place to continually fuel your business model? This is the model premise. So we have to make sure that you understand how you're going to prospect, how you're going to take that lead and convert it, how you're going to service it, and how you're going to grow your business by investing in your current clients to keep the wheel going. Here are the 13 courses that you will get to journey through over the next several years. And again, they are fantastic. And the cool thing is that they grow and they change and they morph into whatever's going on in the current market. So the Open House Boot Camp has, oh my gosh, we've given it a life of its own. I've actually turned that class into, I've added so much stuff, it's now a 3-hour CE class. We're having tremendous success with Open House. And if you go just through the boot camp, there's nothing about all the social media that's out there. Well, it was created many years ago. So we've added a whole section of really cool things that we're doing for mega open houses. And forget the list, the pricing boot camp, unbelievable, has completely transformed. That's probably the biggest transformational piece after 3.5, 4 years that I cannot say enough about it. And anybody that's heard me speak, I spoke at R4 about it. It truly is, and especially since I sold real estate, I've been at those kitchen tables. It's unbelievable. It's the best thing out there. And the way we have figured out how to add and change and pull reports and cool marketing material that we're using around the pricing boot camp. Complete game changer for the agents. They are out there speaking a completely different language than the typical agent, and they are winning. They are winning with this high quality strategy combined with a complete conversion system that has their sellers just singing their praises and sending the referrals. Really, really exciting. So these are all the courses that you'll be able to journey through. You can see we have generation, conversion, and business classes. No stone is left unturned. Very, very powerful. And I'm super excited to have provided this little overview of the real estate perspective class for you. Look for it next time and make sure that you plan to attend this over and over again. Different things are always covered. That different things are going on in the market, different things are going on in agent's business, and everything that the agent brings to the class makes it all that better. So it's not just me up here talking about slides. Half the time we're not even looking at the slide. It's about life. And we've taken these fundamentals and the principles and we've incorporated them into the current landscape of real estate. So that's Real Estate Perspective. I hope you're excited to take a class. I look forward to working with you. As always, I'm always available for questions, as is our whole team. And I hope to see you soon at Real Estate Perspective.